think we can look at the explicit context here and see why John 3:16 is so significant. And that is, in the same way that in Romans we went to the next two verses and we saw what Paul means by life and death, in the very same way, but by going in the other direction, we can just look at the previous two verses and see what Jesus is talking about. So in John 3:14, Jesus says, "As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whoever believes in him may have eternal life." That Moses being lifted up in the serpent reference is a reference to Numbers 21:9. And if you read there, it says, "Moses made a bronze serpent and set it on a pole. And if a serpent bit anyone, he would look at the bronze serpent and live." So notice what's going on here. You've got, in this case of Moses, you've got people who were bitten by fatally venomous snakes. Snakes whose venom was sure to kill any Israelite they bit. And so what does Moses do? He crafts this bronze serpent, and anybody who looks at it literally has their life saved. They're literally saved from dying at the fangs of venomous snakes. And that is the context that Jesus offers leading into John 3:16. Just as Moses was literally a lifesaver, Jesus says, so am I. Anybody who believes in me, in fact, all the more so is Jesus a literal lifesaver, because the lives that were saved by that bronze serpent that Moses created only lasted at most another few decades, right? Whereas the life that Jesus saves endures forever. But nevertheless, it's clear in verse 14 that the kind of perishing and living that Jesus has in mind is ordinary embodied physical death and life. So in the very next verse, when he says, whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life, we already have what we need to conclude that perish means perish, die, and eternal life means live forever.